Hello there, and welcome back to coverage here at Grand Prix Montreal. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Paul Cheon. We're reading the deck list. We've got it somewhat sorted out here between Jonathan Lebeau and Bradley Robinson. Jonathan is playing Black-Red Control. Bradley is on Temur Aetherworks Marvel. And by the way, the reason that you don't see the archetypes listed on the screen is that the feature match here is a little tight. The players are sitting right next to our spotter over there, and we do have to type in the name of the archetype into a screen over there to have it show up on the screen here the way we have it configured. And we just don't want the player to be able to look over and be like, oh, what is my opponent playing? It would be given unfair advantage. And of course, we always try our hardest not to interfere with the tournament itself here on coverage. So for now, we're just going to have those not on the screen for a moment.
So Jonathan opting to play a turn to Lebeau the Heart. And it's kind of interesting to see, you know, there's two primary hand disruption spells you can play at the 2-mana slot. You have both Transgress the Mind and Lebeau the Heart. And John opted to main deck Lebeau the Heart over Transgress the Mind. And I think that's a function of maybe him expecting more zombies, because Lebeau the Heart cannot get Aetherworks Marvel. That is a big deal. Yeah.
Wow, that's a huge beating.
Right. I mean, it does allow you to get other cards. You can get, you know, if you expect a lot of blue-red control, you can get the pull from Tomorrow's, right? There are certainly cards that Lebeau the Heart also hits. You can get cheaper threats because Transgress the Mind gets things that convert mana cost 3 or more. But, yeah. He does play 4 Transgress the Minds in his sideboard, however.
Okay.
But yeah, Bradley has a Marvel in his hand, and Jonathan was unable to get rid of it with the Lebeau the Heart, and that might cost him here.
That is so painful. Oh, no, he's doing it again.
Yeah, I mean, all Bradley needed was that Wood Reaver's Puzzle Knot. He's got 6 energy from that card alone, and I don't know if John actually has a way to, you know, prevent the Marvel from spinning here. At least not in the main deck. Taking a look at John's list, it's pretty nice. It's kind of just like a black-red mid-range deck. You have a lot of good value cards. He's got 3 copies of Gonti, Lord of Luxury, 4 Glory Bringers, 4 Walking Ballistas.
You're not reading the sideboard, are you?
With no synergy. No, this is
Those are all main?
Well,
wow.
Look, when you're only playing 2 colors, when you're black-red, these are the options that you have. You don't have Tracker. You don't have all those other cards.
How about Walking Ballista for 2?
Yeah, Walking Ballista, and nothing to go with it. It just Walking Ballista.
He tapped his Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot.
Is it just
Judge?
And yeah, I mean, Brad just gonna play turn 4 Marvel, 6 energy,
like you do.
Probably spinning right here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, here we go. All right, welcome to GP Montreal.
Yeah. Oh, not okay. One more card.
No,
okay.
We got a real game.
And Black-Red likely doesn't have a way to deal with the Marvel, so he might just get the Puzzle Knot here because that allows him to get another spin, whereas I don't think he has any other ways to produce energy in his hand. So the Puzzle Knot guarantees basically another spin, whereas, you know, he could play the Rogue Refiner and just draw 2 straight lands, and that won't give him enough energy to spin the Marvel again. And the only card that really matters is, of course, just getting an Ulamog onto the board. None of these mid-range creatures do anything. Like, yeah, sure, you have a 3/3 on the battlefield, but Brad's at 23.
Yeah, I'll take 3. Somehow survive that.
Right.
And Brad has another try at the Aetherworks Marvel just in the bin here, so may as well.
Yeah, he can, you know, play the Hub, play the Servant, and also crack the Puzzle Knot. But he can also just lead off by cracking the Puzzle Knot, go up to 7 energy, spin the Marvel, see what you hit. See, what other big hits does he have? He is playing 3 copies of Chandra Flamecaller in the main deck, along with a single copy of Chandra Torch of Defiance as well.
First one off.
Oh, there it is. He's just like, I'm not going to slow.
He also hit 3 of them, but it doesn't matter. Jonathan's
that was it.
Done. He just doesn't have outs to it, does he?
Right, and that's, I mean, that's kind of the risk you take, right? When you decide what 2-mana hand disruption spell you want to play. Imagine if that was a Transgress the Mind. Brad wouldn't really have a whole lot there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Big decision there on which one to include, and it did not work out for Jonathan. That's going to do it for game number 1. We'll be back after these messages. back after a rather brief game one. Looks like we're down a player here.
Yeah. So just taking a look, again, Jonathan made the decision to play the Lebeau the Heart. Certainly cost him that game. And but he has the opportunity to kind of switch it up. He has 4 copies of Transgress the Mind in the sideboard. No Dispossess, actually. So he's opting just to kind of get rid of those pesky marvels with just hand disruption.
You think he regrets playing those Lebeau the Hearts instead of the Transgresses in the main?
Well, if he kind of maybe took a look at the field and saw all these Marvel decks, yes, probably.
Because it looks pretty bad.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would have likely opted for Transgress. You know, going into the tournament, I would have guessed that Marvel would be the #1 deck in the tournament.
Yeah. In fact, you did guess that before the tournament started.
Right, right.
You were right. Speaking of,
yeah,
here's a little more Marvel. Tyler on the left-hand side of your screen's on 10-1 with Temur Marvel. Michael Daye is on blue-red control, which is a deck that we've had our eye on in the booth here as well.
Yeah, and you know, Michael's done a good job of kind of keeping the important permanents off the board, but sometimes this will happen. You will just lose to a Whirler Virtuoso that's resolved because you just have all this energy and you really, really need to find a Sweltering Sun. So that's really what Michael's hoping for here, and I don't think he's found it yet.
No.
He's got a Dynavolt Tower, but that's not going to do it here.
No, it's too slow. He's down to 2.
Let's see. Let's see if we can.
Hold on a minute.
Figure out.
I got to look at this, Paul. What is this nonsense?
There is a deck list that was submitted, and it was a copy paste of his Magic
picture?
Online.
This is awesome.
That is great.
I'm literally looking at a deck list. It's a photograph.
Yeah, it was a print screen of this person's Magic Online deck. It's just the zombie deck that's been copy pasted.
Oh man, I've never seen it. I'll tell you what. If we could get every deck list in the booth like this, it would be awesome.
It would be so easy to read. We're like, oh man, look at this.
I think this guy might have broken it. I'm going to show you guys this when we're back on it. I can't not. This is just too good.
And Mike Daye is playing 2 copies of Sweltering Suns in the main deck.
He just couldn't find
along
one.
with 2 copies of Dynavolt Tower, but yeah. Feels like it looks like he did not find an answer here, but Mike does have 7 energy. Tyler is going up to 4 Thopters here. Hasn't attacked yet. I can't really think of a card Mike could have here. Even if Mike plays Torrential Gearhulk, you cast a Magma Spray, use Dynavolt Tower, that's still 2 damage. Mike needs to have 2 removal spells in hand.
That's a tall order.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he's just making him go through the motions, but he did not have it. And that was a beating.
Right. That was a bit surprising. You know, oftentimes, I mean, he could have been holding a negate. We talk about how sometimes you just don't have the right counter. When you play the Temur matchup, sometimes they resolve the Marvel when you're holding Scatter. Sometimes they resolve the Rogue Refiners or Whirler Virtuosos when you're holding the negate. And that might have been what happened there. We've seen Virtuoso just do so much work.
It really is plan B, right? I mean, again, I talked about it yesterday, but it is the place where you can put all the energy that you've accrued if you don't have a Marvel.
Yeah, it's just an alternate win
where else
condition.
are you spending that energy, right?
Right.
It also hits from such a strangely different angle. Like, you were talking about not having the answers line up. I mean, what a perfect, like,
yeah.
You know, you're holding a negate against 5 creatures.
Right.
Like, what are you know, or you have a Sweltering Suns in your hand and they're like Marvel and you're like resolves, right? It's like, these are such separate things.
Right. You have to like sideboard against this deck that's mostly a combo deck, right?
Yeah.
That has some of these value creatures, so generally you don't want a ton of removal.
No.
But then if they just play Virtuoso, they can just kill you with 5 Thopters.
With 5, you know, your spot removal doesn't look good. Hey, let's take a look at this deck list, but I had to show this to you guys. All right. Well,
it's a little blurry.
Not the best photo we've ever taken, but you get the idea.
Right,
That's
but that
a piece
was
of
the
paper.
deck list submitted. That's great.
We have it in front of us.
Oh, man.
Such gas. All right. Game number 2, Jonathan Lebeau versus Brad Robinson.
Wow, there is a card in here that I did not expect to see play. The Mike Daye with the blue-red control deck had a single copy of Mirror Pool, the land.
Mirror Pool?
In his deck, yeah. Wow.
Mirror Pool.
Mirror Pool.
Like the one that lets you copy
You can copy an Ulamog, I think.
What the heck? Mirror?
Oh, no. It's a creature you control. So you can only copy your Gear Hulk and also a spell you control. I guess you can cast a couple of Glimmers, but the land comes into play tapped. That's a pretty big cost.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But it is sweet.
That's a card that really caught my eye as one that looked really cool.
Right.
And has seen zero-ish play.
Yeah. I mean, it is a value land. If you have room in your deck, maybe you're playing some kind of monocolor deck where you can afford to play a colorless land, it can provide some value there. But of course, in a deck like Blue-Red Control where you want most of your lands to come into play untapped, again, it's a really, really big cost. You know, I think I would actually prefer to play an on-color cycle land over something like a Mirror Pool in those decks.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. You know, actually, I kind of expected John to sideboard out some copies of Walking Ballista, but he might have a lot of... He's playing Black-Red Control. He probably has a ton of removal in the main,
yeah,
and he probably shaved some of them. But Temur Marvel not really too upset that a 1/1 Walking Ballista is on the board. Just not a whole lot of pressure there. And it is strange seeing Walking Ballista in a deck where the Saheeli combo is not a thing, and also you don't really have a whole lot of built-in synergies with the card. You're just kind of playing it as a value card. You're not looking to get Delirium. You don't have Winding Constrictors. You're just playing. You're not playing unlicensed. You might have unlicensed Disintegration, but you're not playing, you know, a lot of these Artifact Matters cards. But
right.
Wow, and look at that hand. No green mana from Bradley.
Zero.
He's got the Attune. He's got the Tireless Tracker. But, you know, Jonathan might be inclined to... Jonathan probably is going to take one of the 4-drops, is my guess. Not the Tracker, because, again, he doesn't have the green source. Chandra or Glimmer of Genius. You know, a lot of that will also depend on Jonathan's hand. Wow, and he opted to take the Glimmer.
Okay.
I guess, so let's see. Is Bradley going to fire off the Harness Lightning here? I guess he's opting to wait a turn. Pretty nice draw. A Whirler Virtuoso.
Is that good?
Yeah, I mean, this Walking Ballista just cannot attack anymore.
Sure can.
Again, I thought it was kind of interesting that the Ballista was just kind of still in the deck here. It's just not impactful enough.
Pretty not great right now, doesn't it? Well, maybe we'll see. Like you said, not super high impact at the moment, though. Well, Jonathan's just going to kind of suck it up here and say, all right, well, grasp that thing. And force Brad to make a decision on whether he wants to use this energy or not.
Yeah, Brad isn't really close to, like, casting a Marvel and using the energy. He could just go ahead and make the Thopter here to just prevent some damage, but I guess he also just thinks, well, this 1/1 Ballista really isn't that problematic here.
Yeah. So he keeps his energy intact.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't have anything to do with it now, and misses his land drop. Not only no green mana, but no mana at all.
Right.
He's got a pair of Chandras in hand now.
And Jonathan Lebeau did have a Glorybringer in hand, but opted not to play it here.
What?
He does. Well, he cast a Transgress the Mind and knows about the Harness Lightning in Brad's hand.
And he just
so he doesn't want to play into it. He wants Bradley to use the Harness Lightning on potentially the Walking Ballista here. Although if that was his game plan, he probably should have just gotten an extra point of damage maybe.
I was thinking that
Ballista.
too, though he is making Brad use the mana on Brad's turn this way.
Right.
So Brad's shields are now down, though this did kind of bank on Brad missing land drops, which he happened to. Ooh, Liliana. Oh, but he's just going to bring the glory. No exert here, just bash for 4. This is a relatively quick clock, and it's also nice to have...
Yeah, but if Bradley draws a land here, he can go land Chandra and get rid of that glory bringer.
Yeah, and he's even got an extra Chandra.
Ooh, but a tap land.
Oh, he did draw a land, but no.
Oh.
Never to return as well.
Okay.
This draw's kind of shaping up for Jonathan now that Bradley's missed multiple land drops.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised here if Jonathan just opts to play Liliana, use the minus ability, and just put a Walking Ballista on the board as well, because that allows Jonathan to get rid of a Chandra that Bradley is very likely to play to get rid of the Glorybringer.
Yeah, by the way, there is a mistake here that we should bring. Bradley's showing 6 energy, but I think that Jonathan sacrifices Walking Ballista in response to the Harness Lightning.
Oh,
so
yeah,
he should
you're
still
right.
be at 3.
Yeah, it should definitely be at 3.
Yeah. We might want to get somebody to mention that to them just because they're working on it. Yeah, I think that the game state's not accurate at the moment.
Right.
Of course, if the Walking Ballista is countered, or excuse me, is sacrificed before the Harness Lightning can resolve, then the Harness Lightning gets countered by the game. It fizzles, as we say.
Right.
And any other effects that you would have gotten also don't happen. And that, of course, is really important, right? I mean, this is a Marvel deck, and if your opponent just all of a sudden goes, play my Marvel.
Right. Yeah,
you're on 3 energy versus 6. It's terrible.
Yeah. If Jonathan let the Harness Lightning, there's no way 6 is the correct number. If the Walking Ballista died, he should have 5 energy,
That's
right?
right.
Because you still needed to deal at least 1 point of damage to the Ballista.
And that's assuming that Jonathan didn't just say sacrifice it to 1 to you, which he absolutely should have done.
Yeah, so it should either be 5 or 3.
Exactly.
There's
it can't
zero,
be 6.
Zero chance that it should be 6.
I mean, Bradley could have said
0.
Yes, but
and then Jonathan sacrificed. But that is yeah.
And that actually couldn't have happened either.
Right.
Not in the sequencing.
Because the Ballista went straight to the graveyard with the Harness Lightning. Okay.
That's right. So Jonathan must have said, okay, and I'm assuming that the life totals will reflect that that have happened as well.
Yeah. So again, yeah, Liliana coming into play. I imagine he's going to minus this. Or not.
Wrong. Wrong.
Well, you know what?
Ooh, land.
Actually, no. Plus makes sense because Bradley can just play the Chandra and minus, and then Brad can get back a bigger threat in the Glorybringer.
Oh, sure.
Replay the Glorybringer and then get the Chandra. So, yeah, actually, this is also fine.
Given that Brad has no pressure on the board whatsoever, is there any merit for Jonathan to take a look at trying to go ultimate with Liliana? She does get up to ultimate pretty quickly.
There is some, but you do want to get that Planeswalker off the board. I think Bradley's pretty behind. Sure. He doesn't. Yeah. Is he going to use a? I'm assuming he's casting the Tune with Ether here for a forest.
He should be,
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll probably see Jonathan minus Liliana, get back Glorybringer, attack Chandra.
Right.
Then Bradley will probably play his own copy, another copy of Chandra, kill the Glorybringer.
Then Jonathan then has the option of either minusing the Liliana and getting back the Glorybringer, but that he would lose the Liliana.
Yep.
Or just taking it up and trying to get a little more value out of the card.
Well, and that's the interesting part also, because if the line goes the way that I described, Brad can also play Chandra and not kill Glorybringer, but get rid of Liliana.
Yes.
You know, so he has a choice there as well.
But
the Glorybringer.
But forcing John to get back the Glorybringer and recast it does tie up his mana.
Yes.
So instead of just having like an active Glorybringer on the board.
I'm just curious to see what Brad does here, because this is an important decision, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, do you want to get rid of a Planeswalker that could get out of hand, or do you want to take out the Glorybringer that's going to pressure
Ooh,
Chandra anyway?
That's a torrential Gearhulk too.
Ooh, Harness Lightning in the graveyard?
Yeah.
That could be some serious business.
He could wait to try to get to a better spot to maybe protect the Chandra. That's also an Aetherworks Marvel.
Wow, this hand really came together for Brad, didn't it?
And Bradley's currently on 5 energy. So right now he just kind of has to go through the motions and try to figure out, all right, what are the cards in John's hand that can really get me here? You know, you don't want to just leave yourself too vulnerable to this Glorybringer. Jonathan could just slam another Glorybringer next turn, for example. But it looks like Brad's opting to go for the Gearhulk plan here.
I don't know what that plan looks like exactly, but I always like it if you say that it's the Gearhulk plan.
Well, it looks like, John's probably going to go for lethal here.
Yeah, this is really cool. I like this play from John a lot.
This is 8 damage.
He's just going to go for another copy of Glorybringer.
Right. And Gonti was a consideration, too. If you're putting Bradley on a removal, you might have wanted a card that allows you to grind.
Right. All right, well, Brad's going to end up dropping down to 4 here. He's going to fire off this Harness Lightning out of his graveyard. Knock himself down to 4 energy, take out a Glorybringer, and be at 4 himself.
Yep. Yeah, and again,
close one.
And again, this allows Brad to kind of protect his Chandra a little more, right? Because now the Liliana is off the board, right? Brad can now play a Chandra next turn, right? Kill the Glorybringer, and then John doesn't have a follow-up there. Or
that is some business.
He's kind of hoping there's no follow-up there, rather.
This has been a good game.
Yeah.
Brad just kind of hanging in there. He's at 4, facing down a Glorybringer, so he's got to solve that problem first.
And Brad also might just be thinking, all right, what other haste creatures might the black-red deck have? Do I want to attack with this Gear Hulk, right? Because, again, this is kind of the trouble sometimes when you play against a deck that's an unknown quantity. You're playing against a deck that you really haven't seen a whole lot of, right? Like, who knows what kind of reach haste ground creatures John could have in his deck.
Gosh, another minor board state thing here as well. The Harness Lightning should be exiled. That was flashback with the Gear Hulk.
Right.
I mean, you know.
I think there's probably only one Gear Hulk in Brad's deck, but yes.
Yeah, let's just keep it clean here, right?
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. All right. But Brad is at 4. There are walking ballistas in John's deck.
Yeah.
Also, another Glorybringer off the top. That's the game.
Yep. But Brad can't do anything about that anyway.
Right.
So
I'm just going through whatever outs John might have.
Totally.
Here. Yeah.
And walking ballista doesn't kill Brad on the spot, right?
Right, but he can play it for 3. Bradley currently doesn't have a way to deal with a walking ballista, so then John can untap on the following turn, pump it up to a 4/4, and go for lethal. All right, here we go.
Another Gonti.
That is a Gonti, okay. Hey, that's a threat still.
Yeah, it's not going to win him the game on the spot.
Yeah, John could also consider just casting a Never to Return on the Chandra because it's a card that gets Bradley further and further ahead in terms of card advantage. He can afford to take a couple of more hits off this Torrential Gear Hulk. Wait, what is this? That's a Release the Gremlins. Or is that? No. Oh, that's an Unlicensed Disintegration.
Yeah.
Sorry. It actually looked like a Release the Gremlins.
Indeed. But either way, he clears the board of both threats and says, what can you do now, Brad? And Brad's probably going to play an Aetherworks Marvel here.
Yeah, he's got 2 marvels in hand, so he plays this one.
All right.
Oh, he drew a Glimmer of Genius. Okay.
I guess since he couldn't spin the Marvel anyway, he'd rather just have this.
And I think
I think he wants that negate, doesn't he?
Probably wants that negate. Again, you're playing against a black-red control deck. Jonathan could very easily just untap and play Chandra Flamecaller.
Yeah, totally.
And go for 6. So I think you want the negate, probably not the land. He could also bottom both and just think, well, maybe one of the ways I lose is just Glorybringer, so increase the chances of drawing Harness Lightning. But looks like he's opting for the negate because at the same time, John next turn could also untap and cast a Dispossess, naming Aetherworks Marvel. So that negate gives you a little protection against that as well.
Removal spell off the top for John. Not what he wants to see. But what does he have for us?
This is the Gonti, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe looking to like hit a negate off of this. Not close to casting that Ulamog.
He can dream.
Is that a Chandra Flamecaller?
It is. It totally is.
Wow.
A lethal, by the way, Chandra Flamecaller. Next turn. Oh boy. Wow, Brad's going to be happy he got that negate, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because Brad's at 6 energy. Next turn he can play the Marvel and still have negate backup. The question is, when is he going to spin this top? Or sorry,
You know they ban top, right?
Spin the Marvel. You can't play top in any format anymore.
Definitely not this one. Well, now what? Tireless Tracker.
Huh.
And then he can still play his Marvel?
Yeah, but that taps him out.
If he does. If he plays the Marvel.
Oh, no.
Oh, and now he has to hit.
He needs to hit something
Now
here.
he has to hit. And if he does hit, he needs to take out 2 lands.
Yeah,
Risky business
that's the
for
thing.
Brad.
I'm not sure about this tracker because you want to keep up that negate. What if Jonathan also hit a negate off the Gonti, right? You want to be able to protect your Marvel off your own negates.
Totally. Brad passes the turn.
Oh, my.
Another Chandra, by the way, for John Lebeau.
I think if you're Jonathan, you just go for it. You just play the Flamecaller here.
Totally. Jam it. Do it, Jonathan.
Oh, you know what?
What's up?
Another option is he could play Chandra Torch of Defiance, Grasp of Darkness, or Tireless Tracker. And then just, that's also 4 damage. But here we go. Chandra Flamecaller on the stack. I think Brad's thinking,
Resolves, maybe?
Maybe I should have left 2 men up
He's
here.
looking down at that negate like, no.
Look, I understand getting the value off the clue. Like, that's always tempting. You just want to draw those extra cards, but...
Oh,
no.
He may have pushed it a little too far this time.
And is he letting it resolve?
He did not even spin his Aetherworks Marvel.
I don't know how many negates he boarded in, but I guess he's opting to just try to hit a creature because he could also hit like a Whirler Virtuoso to survive.
Yes, that would be fine, and Ulamog would be.
Of course, Ulamog would be fantastic.
Still
all
not
right,
a good
here we
spot
go.
for him though.
It's all down to this spin. Does he hit something? Okay, Virtuoso lets him survive.
Yeah. Oh, there's the negate. Oh, and he hit Ulamog in there too. Aren't we having fun, kids?
So close, so close.
So what does he actually exile here? Because he does need to block stuff. Why use it for?
Well, if he exiles, if he has a land in hand, which I don't think he does, but if he has a land in hand, he can just exile the 2 creatures, block a 3/1. If he plays a land and cracks both clues, he does have lethal. That's 15 damage.
Oh. But you're right. He doesn't currently have a land. So he could just win the game here if he draws a land.
I think he's trying to set up for that here.
That makes sense.
Because
and if he doesn't, he still has good options.
Right.
Yeah. But he'd love to just see a land. It doesn't even matter if it's tapped or untapped either.
A land or a Tune with Ether for the game.
And
that's
he hit it.
There we go.
Ether Hub, make a clue, and Bradley Robinson is going to win this one.
15 damage.
Boom.
Exactsies.
Wow. Man, I really thought John was going to pick that one off, but
that was close. He had to hit. He had to hit a big threat there.
Turns out Ulamog saves the day on occasion.
Yeah, turns out Ulamog is decent.
I agree. It
was kind of exciting.
Ulamog's pretty decent. Wait, you're just attacking John, right?
Yeah, he has to.
I mean, I saw him kind of pointing the things around. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, pump the tireless tracker to a... Oh, what?
Wait, did he not attack Jonathan?
What? Wait, what?
Like, I did see him sort of motioning with the cards.
Is something attacking Chandra Flamecaller here?
Oh, God, Jonathan can come back if that's the case.
Yeah, he might have outs here.
I don't think he sees that he's got lethal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance that that his life total's not correct or something.
Well, he took 1 hit off Gear Hulk, and he hasn't gained any life, right?
Yeah. No, I'm just like trying to come up with something because he did not attack him.
So Ulamog attacked Chandra, and Jonathan took 4 off the tracker. Is that what?
Yes.
Happened? Oh my goodness.
Glorybringer off the top. Anybody?
Yeah, well, Bradley does have a Whirler Virtuoso for protection with the negate. So he's still probably going to win this game, but he did just have lethal this turn. Yeah.
Oh, man, playing with fire.
Right. Oh, my. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's not going to matter, but wow.
That was another unlicensed disintegration for Jonathan.
Yeah, but no artifact, so.
Yeah, and Brad's at 4. That's going to get negated.
Yeah. And that's...
And with no planeswalkers left to attack, Brad will have no choice other than to finish off Jonathan Lebeau.
It's like, what do I do now? Yeah.
And that's going to do it. Brad Robinson, 10-1-1 with Temur Marvel.
Yeah.
That was a sweet match.
That was. I mean,
there were some ups and downs in there.
It all came down to that final spin.
Man.
And possibly a top deck from John.
Man. Yeah. Ulamog came in with like a cape flying behind him.
It's like, I got you.
A big U on his chest and was like, I got this.
Oh, man.
Because he was facing down some lethal attacks there for sure.
He was definitely Bradley's hero.
All right. Let's check in on our other match here. It looks like they're tied up at a game apiece. Michael was the one who was playing that one mirror pool, right?
He was. He's got the mirror pool. And it looks like he was able to tie it up here. But now he's on the draw. Where your sensors become far less effective. Yeah. He might even consider boarding a few of those out because it is a lot easier to play around it if you're on the play, right?
Yep.
If you're on the draw, against the blue red control deck, I feel like kind of the general consensus is you just kind of jam your threats and hope they don't have it. But again, on the play, having a start where you can go like turn 2 Servant of the Conduit into turn 3 one of your 3 drops makes it just so easy to play around Censor. And again, after sideboard, I do favor the Marvel side. I think as the blue-red control deck, you kind of need to lock up game 1, and then after sideboard, Marvel gets the board out, all their puzzle knots, all their back cards, and replace them with basically all counter spells and trackers. It looks like Mike mulliganed here. Wow, and Tyler just has like, is that a puzzle knot? It's like lands in a puzzle knot. What? Huh. Okay, it looks like he's going for the Marvel plan. I generally am not a big fan of Puzzle Knot against blue-red control, just a deck with like 16 counter spells.
You're surprised that it's just still in the deck?
Right.
Well,
maybe it's not a puzzle
tracker?
knot. Did I? No, no, that is a puzzle knot.
What about a tireless tracker? How do you feel about that?
I'm more on board with tireless
You like
tracker.
that a little better, do you? Yeah. Especially when you play it this early in the game.
Right.
Turn 3 with a clue.
Oh, but Mike does have the answer here, so just only 1 card.
Okay.
Again, but this is that type of exchange where your opponent just keep playing Rogue Refiners and Trackers, and if you just use 1-for-1 spot removal, the Temur Marvel deck will just slowly just creep further and further ahead.
I like the old school Magma Spray there, by the way.
Yeah.
Keeping it real. Ether Hubby now for Tyler.
Ether Hubby. What does he want to do here to play the untapped land over the tap land?
Well, the Puzzle Knot.
So he wants to cast Puzzle Knot and activate?
Or is he just leaving up?
Like a clue? Harness Lightning, maybe?
Yeah, he's got Harness Lightning in his hand.
And he could play
how big
Censor.
of a deal is that thing in the ice?
I mean,
It'll happen,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like, he does have to deal with it at some point.
Yeah, at some point
doesn't
when it flips. But the thing is, Tyler can wait for a pretty good window to get the thing in the ice. Oftentimes, as the blue-red control deck, on turn 4, or when you have turn 4 mana up, the Temur Marvel deck passes. At the end of turn, the blue-red control deck will often try to cast, Hieroglyphic Illumination or a Glimmer of Genius, and that's when you can usually fire off the Harness Lightning to get rid of something like a thing in the ice here.
It does feel a little scary, though, right? Because what if they re-trigger it?
Right.
Like, I mean, they have to be tapped out.
Right, but the thing in the ice is currently only on 3 counters, so it's hard to re-trigger that. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, he's got time.
Yeah, it's a lot scarier. It's much scarier when the thing in the ice is, on 1, for example, and it's about to flip. Yeah.
Well, he's going to take this window to just melt that thing.
Yeah.
Get in for a couple of damage here. And otherwise, Tyler doesn't seem to have a whole heck of a lot else going on.
Not a lot of pressure. And again, and that's kind of the reason why I really dislike the Puzzle Knot after sideboard. I feel like just hoping to try to stick a Marvel and kind of, I think that plan is almost your plan B. I think your primary plan after sideboard is trying to win with your value creatures.
Okay.
Tireless Trackers, get those to resolve, and then at some point maybe a window opens up where you can play a Marvel. But like, you don't really need to be super aggressive with all these like things that make energy, because the games go long. You're going to cast your attunes. You're casting Rogue Refiners. You're casting Glimmers. At some point, you're going to have the energy to spin your Marvel. That Puzzle Knot could have easily been. I don't know what Tyler's sideboard looks like, but just even any threat, even a Chandra Flamecaller.
Yeah, anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he kept the Puzzle Knots in. Taking a look at his sideboard, he's got 3 negates into the spell and 3 trackers. I'm assuming he brought all of those in. That's 7 cards. And, one of the first cards I would consider cutting are the Puzzle Knots. And, maybe you can shave on an Ulamog. I've also considered shaving a Marvel, because, again, if you take out some of those Puzzle Knots, you have less energy, and it's, harder to spin those Marvels. But yeah, look at Tyler here, just all value creatures here.
Yeah, I mean, the Servants are not particularly impressive, but they are getting in a decent amount of damage, and the Rogue Refiners just look great here. Yeah,
and keep in mind, Tyler now on 9 mana. He's got an Ulamog in hand. So one thing that I like to do in this matchup on the control side is to, I don't like Magma Spray, but I do like keeping in the Sweltering Suns, because sometimes Whirler Virtuoso resolves.
Wow, what a terrible draw from Michael. He just had nothing. He just lost to 3-2s and 2-2s on the ground after taking care of the tracker and a couple of other threats.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, that's going to do it. Tyler's going to improve to to 11-1 here as we work our way, or excuse me, yeah, to 11-1 as we work our way through day 2 here at Grand Prix Montreal. We've got some messages for you, but we'll be back after those.